Hello everyone. So welcome you all again on the Ekagra's Academies channel. Right. Now just आज morning में पेपर हुआ है Sociology Optional UPSC Civil Service Examination Mains का and we have a paper 1 in front of us of Sociology. Now if we see the overall nature of this paper, again जो trend हमने notice किया था, जो discuss किया था in the earlier पेपर ऑफ द जनरल स्टडीज, कहीं ना कहीं वही सेम पैटर्न, वही ऑलमोस्ट सेम लाइन ऑफ थिंकिंग हमें देखने को मिली इवन इन द ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट एज वेल. नंबर वन, as the questions are directly from the syllabus, stick to syllabus. And number two, real life questions and real life problems, whatever is going on, current debatable issues, questions उस पे भी फ्रेम हुए हैं. एंड द मोस्ट यूनिक थिंग वाज कि इस बार के पेपर 1 में रिसर्च के ऊपर जो क्वेश्चंस कुछ ज्यादा थे. सी, as a future policy makers, it is like required that officers should be having that kind of quality that before making policy they must be able to understand, they must be able to gather the data properly, and that's why research aptitude has been tested very largely in this paper. So let's see all the questions one by one, right? So if you talk about section A, where we have a 5 compulsory questions, right? The question directly from a syllabus, what is common sense, and comparing the common knowledge with the knowledge of sociology directly from syllabus. Secondly, what is the relationship, that is similarities and difference between sociology and history? See, UPSC has made it completely explicit. You need to talk about both. You need to talk about the similarities. You need to talk about the differences. They mention those things, right? So इससे हमारा काम भी इजी हो गया. एंड सी, इसमें हिस्ट्री या किसी और सब्जेक्ट के का कोई स्पेसिफाइड पार्ट यूज नहीं किया. दे सिंपली यूज्ड सोशियोलॉजी एंड हिस्ट्री डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम सिलेबस. What is variable from the research part in social research and what they are different types? Elaborate. Then, as we discussed in this year's entire syllabus, one thing taken in all the papers, one thing was very famous or it was repeated, that was the digital world, right? In the world where we are living right now, तो इस digital world को हमने यहाँ पे link किया with the theory of Merton's reference group. So question was, Merton's reference group theory be relevant in understanding identity making in digital world? So whenever we study thinkers, as we always try to correlate those concepts with the current happenings, right? हमें वही same approach यहाँ भी use करना है. Apart from it, if we see the last question of section A का first, that is social stratification theory is a gender blind, right? So you can see a question from the unit 5 paper 1, right? And it also linked with the current status. It actually went beyond its traditional dimension. तो ये चीज समझिए यहाँ पे कि कहीं ना कहीं हमें अपनी जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उसको ब्रॉडर करना होगा. लिमिटिंग ओनली टू द थ्योरीज विल नॉट बी सफिशिएंट. बट यस, सिलेबस को कवर करना बहुत जरूरी है. क्यों? बिकॉज जो करंट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन है दे आर डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द सिलेबस. अपार्ट फ्रॉम इट, इफ वी सी फर्दर, ठीक है, we are going to have like the questions from where you have to choose. So in that, first we have the what is positivism, critically analyze the major arguments against it, direct question from syllabus. Secondly, highlight the main features of historical materialism as propounded by Marx and how far is this theory relevant in understanding contemporary societies. Explain. This is almost done like by every student whenever they study sociology, but it all depends how strong points you are giving उसका current context देने में. And if you compare to the previous years जहाँ पे fetishism of commodity जैसे terms आए थे which was quite difficult, अब थोड़ा उससे lighter version questions आ रहे हैं. Here we are seeing direct question on the historical materialism of Karl Marx. Apart from it, one more question from research part. What do you mean by reliability? Discuss the importance of reliability and social science research. One more direct question, one more research based question. Next, compare capability deprivation approach that of social capital. If you must have noticed, In GS paper 2 there was a question regarding to women's social capital part. Again same theme got repeated here also. मतलब ये वो चीजें हैं जो कि करंट सिनेरियोस के लिहाज से काफी ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. Then pressure groups as a threat or a necessary element of democracy. You can again just match this theme with the जीएस पेपर 2. बस थीम वहां पे चेंज ये हो गया है. वहां पे हमने बात की थी ओवरऑल सिविल सोसाइटी ग्रुप्स के बारे में और यहाँ पे वो क्वेश्चन स्पेसिफिकली है ऑन द प्रेशर ग्रुप्स. एंड वन मोर क्वेश्चन फ्रॉम द रिसर्च पार्ट. व्हाट इज हाइपोथेसिस? क्रिटिकली इवैल्यूएट द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ हाइपोथेसिस इन रिसर्च. Then one India-based question. Remember, you can say fixed classification. You may have some paper 2's question in paper 1 as well, and the same pattern repeated by the UPSC this year also. Give an account of the recent trends of marriage in the Indian context. See, the way marriage has been changing, it has been in news frequently. So question bhi us pe aaya. We need to compare recent trend with the traditional practices. Next question. What would you identify as the similarities and difference in the elite theories of G. Mosca, Mitchells and Pareto? Direct question. No any kind of, you can say, use of kind of words to confusion create kare. No. And then critically analyze the sociological significance of informal sector in the economy of developing societies, linking concepts with the current. After that, we had question number 5, section B. Again, one more part जो आपके लिए compulsory था to attempt. In what way is the scope of sociology unique? Again, from the first 3 units, questions are coming. Does the structural functionalist perspective on social stratification promote a status quo? Very much जो famous criticism है, structural functionalist का सवाल भी बन गया है उसी पे directly, right? Then do you think that formal workspaces are free of gender bias? See, one thing we constantly hear in the news, glass ceiling theory, right? तो वैसे कुछ चीजें हैं जो कि hidden form में exist करती हैं. Apart from it, how does Weber's Verstehen approach address the objectivity subjectivity debate in sociology? Directly question from the thinkers part. And one more question from the current context, that is, to what an extent education and skill development be an agent of social change. So this is how you can see questions from current, questions from theories are directly came in the examination. Then the basic unit came here in action. What is science and do you think that methods used in natural sciences can be applied to sociology? See, generally हम जब भी देखते हैं unit 1, 2 and 3 को in the sociology optional, it is ignored by the aspirants. But see, almost in every, even the optional question, you can find out the question from those 3 units. Then we have, what do you understand by gender-based domestic division of labor? Is it undergoing a change in the wake of increasing participation of women in the formal employment? Just see, themes are almost repeated and interconnected, right? Not something unique or not something new is coming. And as usual, digital era came here again. How can you assess the significance of social movements in the digital age? Explain. After that, one more question from the research part. What is sampling in the context of social research? Discuss different forms of sampling with their relative advantages and disadvantages. See, UPSC is clearly elaborating what they are exactly expecting from you in the question, like in the answers के फॉर्म में. और दूसरा, बहुत ज्यादा कोई बड़े वर्ड्स या कोई ऐसे वर्ड जो बहुत ही कम सुने हो हमने, उस पे बेस्ड नहीं है. क्वेश्चंस आर डायरेक्ट, based on syllabus and very much elaborated, very much with the clarity. Then, how do theories of Marx, Weber and Durkheim differ in understanding of religion? Explain. Direct question. What is the nature of relationship between science and religion in the modern society? Analyze with the suitable example. And then, question purely based on the current events, and you can say applied based, application based question. What do you understand by the sustainable development? Discuss the elements of sustainable development as proposed in the UNDP's SDG report 2015. Next question. How do civil society organizations such as NGOs, SHGs contribute to grassroots level social changes? discuss and in what ways does queer kinship, like we all know the LGBTQ, which are beyond that binary biological, you can say bondings and relations, usse beyond, challenge the traditional kinship system, substantiate by giving illustration. Now, even many of these questions actually give the feeling of GS, but you need to address this question in the sociological way. That is something जहां पे हमें थोड़ा सा cautious रहने की requirement है. और जो हमने बात की कि most famous to current issues थे, they are in the questions as it is, syllabus in the question as it is, and all the parts given equal importance. So this is all about the Sociology paper 1, and then we'll discuss paper 2. Thank you.